Marcus Elton on the sideline, the relief pitcher in the bullpen, warming up. He did so earlier in the second half, but now more intently as Winky on the sideline after his 5th interception of the afternoon.
Keep in mind, Elton got a lot of repetitions in the springtime because Kendra was out, and Elton was actually battling for the #1 spot with Winky.
Things starting to get serious in Raleigh, North Carolina, with 10:39 left, and the Wolves back up. Riker screen, holds a nice catch after it was tipped. He may have saved an interception.
Two things. Time is definitely a factor. Florida State can't panic, and you can see there they aren't. But they have gotten more aggressive. They came with a jailbreak there and brought everybody to put the pressure on Barnett. The second thing is NC State cannot get too excited here, too emotional, because emotion gets in the way of concentration, and you can sometimes make mistakes that they haven't made to this point.
The one mistake Barnett made earlier, he threw the interception and he tried to make something happen that wasn't there. Exactly what you're talking about. A junior out of Roxborough, North Carolina, with a straight drop. Plenty of room to run. He tucks it to the near sideline. Got a Wolfpack first down in the dive. Out of bounds at the 37-yard line. Diving for the first down, Barnett. The only time that Florida State has lost in the ACC. You go back to 95, 33-28 to score at Virginia. Warwick Dunn can't get to the end zone. So Bobby Bowden within a foot of an unblemished record in ACC play since joining in 1992. As Dunn was stopped at the goal line in danger of another one.
But they're still 47-1 in 6 seasons in the conference. 11 consecutive 10-win seasons, 11 straight top 4 rankings. They don't lose often, and they definitely don't panic in this situation.
If you're Mike O'Kane, you're hoping your ball club leads at this point, even though you haven't been in a situation like this against Florida State, but believes that you are going to win the game.
Here again was a situation where Barnett, with a bad wheel, he had his knee operated on. They say it's still not 100%. They don't expect him to run. He comes out and picks up the key first down.
By the way, we've got more clock problems. Had to take time off the clock on the last drive, and they may have to do the same.
But twice now, the clock has not started when play started. And you would never think that would happen at home.
Usually not happening at home when an upset is brewing, yeah. Well, this went a long way from over, but more action tonight at 8 o'clock in prime time here on ABC. The Irish trying to build on the upset of Michigan. For the East Lansing to take on Michigan State. They're trying to right the ship. It'll be a huge upset for them over the Irish tonight. Good one, though. Rivalry, obviously. That's tonight at 8 o'clock here on ABC. And now they'll continue to talk about the clock problems.
Florida State still has 3 timeouts left. NC State has 3, but it's too early to be talking about that yet. Right now, the defense and Bobby Bowden are thinking about turnover, forcing the turnover.
Well, no matter what happens here in the last 10-18, obviously a lot is riding on this when you look at national championship hopes, the future, at least for this season, of Florida State offensively. The Knowles coaches can't feel good about what they've seen. They based on what they saw in the Texas A&M game, and they felt very good after that.
And regardless of the outcome of this game is certainly going to hurt Florida State in the polls. The only good thing about that, it's still early in the season.
Of course, the Bowl Championship Series this year, number 1 versus number 2, guaranteed. And the Knowles hoping to be in one of those 2 spots.
Mickey Andrews, the defensive coordinator. Last 2 times he's come with blitzes.
First down, finally got the clock worked out. So Jamie Barnett back to the line of scrimmage. Rashawn Spikes gets the call. Back to the line, that's about it. Tough to run against these Knowles. Corey Simon, the junior, who got a start today. He was in on the stop first.
Big stop on first down. That's when NC State has had a lot of success on first down, which has allowed their game plan to go in full swing. Then they can pass or run. But here now brings up second down and 11. See, they've got to now start thinking it's second and long and start thinking about looking for Torrey Holt again.
Well, in terms of the run
The way teams have always tried to attack Florida State, run right up the middle, right at them because of their quickness east and west. And now they've got some great tackles up the middle.
Barnett, there's Holt out there, makes the catch. Holt to the score. Torrey Holt to the end zone. 63 yards, there are no flags on the play. And you better believe this Wolfpack crowd expects the upset now.
In the beginning of the game, he had 5 touchdowns against Florida State last year. They were keying on him today. NC State has moved him around, put him in a lot of different spots. He's been successful nonetheless with a couple of touchdowns again this afternoon. That time, it was just a fly pattern, and he outran the secondary. What a perfect pass by Barnett as well. Just put a lot of air under the ball and let Holt run for it.
63 yards. He had a 68-yard punt return for a touchdown earlier today. 5 touchdowns against an Olds a year ago, but these much more important for Torrey Holt and the Wolfpack. 22-7 with the extra points to come.
It just tastes better.
The worst was I'd be at a party, and someone would light up a cigarette, and that cigarette would look like filet mignon to me. My mouth would practically water. Without Nicorette gum, I could never have quit. I could chew a piece when I needed it, and I would regain control, and it would soothe my cravings fast. After a piece of Nicorette, a cigarette would only look like top round to me, and that I could resist.
Nicorette gum helps you fight your cravings, your habit, your way. You can do it. Nicorette can help.
Thanks, Dad.
You can't do this with Caravan.
Thanks.
You can't do it with Windstar.
Thanks, Pop.
A little help? Only the Chevy Venture is available with a remote control sliding side door. It's the perfect accessory for the overworked father. Chevy Venture. Let's go.
Choose low 0.9 financing or $1,500 cash back on Chevy Venture. See your dealer today.
Florida State 47-1, may go to 47-2 if the Wolfpack can hold on. 9:31 left. Torrey Holt, the 63-yard touchdown catch. But Mike O'Kane knows this one's a long way from over, as does Bobby Bowden. The extra point, they'll go for 2. Irwood missed an extra point earlier in the game. They are up 15 right now, trying to go up 17. Holt in motion to the far side. Barnett to throw back to the tight end. Smith, he gets there. 24-7 Wolfpack.
Torrey Holt was like a magnet. Pulled everybody to the right. Then they just threw back to the left. And there was nobody there. They rolled to the right. Everybody's looking for Holt. Whoops. We forgot the tight end. Touchdown, Smith. Now, on 2nd and 11, we said they've got to look for Torrey Holt. So we do it, the defense do it, but nobody could stop him. It's just a fly pattern. He splits the seam between the 2 defenders and just takes it in. Oh, how sweet was that? Gibson couldn't get there. Jackson couldn't get there. Holt just outruns them. And the ball was perfectly thrown because Barnett put a lot of air under it, threw it high, and let Holt run under it.
Torrey Holt, with the 5 touchdown catches last year, set an ACC record. This year, he's trying to pull off the biggest upset of his career. Barnett, the perfect pass. Has found Holt all afternoon long. And Mike O'Kane trying to make sure his troops realize there are 9 minutes and 31 seconds left of it. Reggie Durden, Steve Feaster back deep. There's the 6th drive. Durden at the 6. Got away. Roses quickly out at the 34. Good run back there. Good field position.
Again, is tackled by Jason Perry.
ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by Chevrolet Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. Coors Light, Cross Brewed, to tap the clean taste of the Rockies. And Morgan Stanley Dean Witter. We measure success one investor at a time.
Got a new quarterback in Marcus Alton, rather.
Sophomore out of Fort Walton Beach, Florida. Alton took his high school to the championship game in Florida. Going to throw back. See Feaster the catch out of the backfield. Still up. Feaster across midfield to the 49 of NC State. Great gain on first down for the Noles. Edric Smith, a freshman middle linebacker, made the stop.
Outside of Florida, you may not know Marcus Alton. We certainly didn't know coming in that he was going to get any playing time today. The scouting report says he's an exceptional athlete, very fine runner. Coaches love his ability to handle pressure, and he certainly has that now.
Got a lot of time in the spring, as you mentioned, after Kendra went down, but did not throw a pass a year ago. His first year playing for Florida State. Out to get a pick this one up. Scramble and near a first down. The snap was low out of the shotgun.
I think right there, I think right there he lived up to everything in that scouting report. It was a bad snap. He didn't panic, kept his composure, and instead he's a fine runner, and he tucks it away, and he's within a yard of the first.
Same high school as E.G. Green and Danny Werfel for Walton Beach. There's Winky. You wonder what is going through his mind. An awful afternoon for Chris Winky. Minor out of the backfield, a short gain on the catch, but that's enough for the first down.
Terry, with 8:17 left, I mean, there's no question that Winky, after all the build-up and all his expectations, that he is right now heartbroken. He's got to be sick to his stomach. But, I mean, for Alton, it's a great opportunity. And right now, there's got to be a sense of urgency for Florida State, but they still can't panic. And Florida State's not a team that normally does.
3 scores to get there, though, and it's a change. Complete to Peter Warwick. A gain of about 8 to the 30-yard line. And NC State's letting anything happen underneath now, but trying not to give up anything long.
What's becoming all too true for the Seminoles now is the fact that they need 3 scores.
Alton calling the play with the no huddle. Second and a long 2. Here comes NC State up the middle. Alton wanted to give it. Minor couldn't get it to him. Wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage. Cecil McCurdy, the defensive tackle who was not supposed to play today because of a sprained ankle.
You know what screwed this play up was the fact that NC State was coming on the blitz and showed it early. They were guessing and almost jumped it. And all of a sudden, that threw everything out of whack with the offense and the snapper, and also for the ball carrier, Minor. And so Alton had to just tuck it away.
3rd and 2. Here comes the crowd playing a role. Out of the gun, Alton wants to run. Not going to get there. Back to the original line of scrimmage at the 30, maybe the 31. So it brings up 4th and almost 3.
Well, you need 2 touchdowns and a field goal. But at this point, I think Florida State more than anything needs the touchdowns, and I think they'll go for it here, even though it's 4th and long.
Bobby wants to think about it and talk about it. He's going to burn a timeout.
I'd go for it.
4th and almost 3 for the Noles, trying to avoid their first defeat of the year. Only 2nd ever in the ACC when we come back.
Chevy
Tahoe with a Vortec engine. The most powerful SUV anywhere. What will happen in Cuba after Castro? What will replace television? Is an arthritis cure around the corner? One thing's for sure, opportunities abound. And every day we send a search party of 35,000 to find them. Care to join us? Let's get to work. Solomon Smith Barney.
Rogaine Extra Strength works for 4 out of 5 men.
What do you mean works?
Regrows hair, or at least stops hair loss.
With my luck, I'll be that fifth guy.
Probably not. But here's our guarantee. Give Rogaine Extra Strength an honest chance. You be the judge. It stops hair loss, or regrows hair, more hair, thicker hair, faster, or we give your money back. Guaranteed. Rogaine Extra Strength works for you, or your money back. I can't lose.
The Bowl Championship Series is online with live action, interviews, game highlights, and live polls on the web at ESPN.com.
4th down and 2 at the 30-yard line. We don't see Sebastian Janikowski. Don't see Chris Wenke. He's on the sideline. Marcus Outzen in at quarterback, but the Noles are going to go for it. Outzen to throw. Throws, almost picked off. But the Wolfpack holds. Either way, they hold on 4th down. And it'll turn it over to NC State. As good a win as these fans will have seen if the Wolfpack can hold on in a long, long time.
Still a little premature for that thought. You have just under 7 minutes to play. But I think he tried to feather this too much. They showed a running formation with 2 tights. Almost had his knee taken out by his own blocker. But Peter Warwick was open, but he tried to feather it rather than just step up and drill it. And it was almost picked off again by Perry.
So Outzen not having much success, even though he drove the Seminoles down the field. But he and Wenke not able to put much on the board at all. Only 7 points. That was on the first play of the game. And Sean spikes right into the middle of the pile as the clock continues to run.
Florida State has 2 timeouts left. You don't want to use those here, but you want to help guys up off the floor and get them back into the huddle as soon as possible. Look at this.
Tells the story, doesn't it? 68 yards for Torrey Holt. Had a 63-yard touchdown catch a minute ago.
Said right at the beginning of the game, the motto at NC State this year, big plays, big days, and they've had them.
315 yards for Holt in the last 2 games against Florida State. And they have dominated Florida State in the last 7 quarters. Spike, no room at all. Nice play on the outside. Neon Humphrey, who's had a bad neck, actually a neck burner that he got in practice. But he got the spike in time to trip him up. Mickey Andrews, the defensive coordinator, they've been perplexed today. Torrey Holt is for the 2nd year in a row, is just pierced that secondary, even though, you know, they were really after Holt today and trying to stop him.
And as you look at the clock continue to tick, this is huge for the Florida State defense. To have a shot, they've got to stop him here and get the ball back.
3rd and a long 10. They keep it on the ground. Spikes don't want to take any chances, so they'll have to punt it away after a gain of about 2. You like that decision?
Yes, I do, and I think it's a great stop by Florida State. And now Florida State's got to get the ball back in pretty good field position. So, I mean, for Mike O'Kane, he knows 3 scores beat him. He doesn't want to give him back the ball too quickly or give him anything easy with a turnover. So he's keeping it on the ground, just trying to use the clock.
D. Feaster back. If you look at the numbers on Jamie Barnett on the sideline, the Noles may be coming after this one, no. Scott Earwood stands at his own 16-yard line. Here they come. He gets it away, a line drive kick, and not a real good one. His only intention was to get it out of there, I think. 30 yards on the punt. Florida State takes over at the 38. Mike O'Kane trying to hold on to a huge win.
The Butabi brothers. Doug, the smart one.
Want to dance?
We're not in the club yet.
Right.
Steve,
What's up?
Just giving her an $80 ticket.
she is so into you. The looker.
Hey, hot lady. What's going on? All right, we'll clean up later. Don't worry about it.
Together, they own the night. A Night at the Roxbury.
Hey, what's up?
Rated PG-13. Everywhere Friday, October 2nd.
How about a little of that?
I feel a presence. Harold, is that you?
Select road. Validating tires.
What kind of road can you drive on with B.F. Goodrich tires?
Approved. Enjoy.
Any road you choose. B.F. Goodrich tires. Take control.
4:50 left. Florida State needing 3 scores. They come back with Chris Winkie. His numbers on the day, he doesn't want to look at those. 5 interceptions. In fact, 4 of his last 22 with 4 picks during that time. Flushed out of the pocket, and down he goes at the 35-yard line.
And a late flag. A late flag. They're going to call face mask.
Streets is the man who got there.
I'm not sure. That flag came so late. I'm not sure there was a face mask, but that's what they're calling, I believe. There was a hand high on his hat.
No, face mask. It's a 5-yard face mask on the defense.
Take a look. Now, the hand is high on his hat, but see if it gets his face mask. It's actually on his shoulder pad.
You know what? You're right.
No face mask. And the flag was thrown from up here. The official had his back to the play. Or had the player's back to his.
Never touched the mask. First down in 5 in any case. No need to argue about it at this point. Winkie, plenty of room to run, and he throws it behind minutes. He had no one in front of him whatsoever.
All the pressure that NC State put on Winkie earlier in the ball game is now coming into play. Right there were no red jerseys around him, but he turned quickly and threw before he was set. That pressure is still in his mind.
The 5 turnovers today. He had 2 fumbles in the A&M game. Looking for Minor out of the backfield. Out to the 49-yard line, close to a first down. He may have it for the Noles, but 4:21 now, and that clock becoming even more of an enemy than NC State. And don't forget, if time permits, stay tuned for the Thrifty Car Rental post-game report. With scores and highlights from across the country with John Saunders and Todd Blackledge. Did not get the first down, so it's 3rd and 1. The inside give. He's going to get it this time. Travis Minor to the 49. The ball is loose. NC State saying they recovered it, but it stays with Florida State. And they will move the chains. So you take up all this time, though, getting that first down and more off the clock.
Florida State today has had its most success in the passing game when Warwick is the number 2 receiver in. That's when he's the most dangerous. And right now, that's where he's lining up on this play.
3 receivers set for the Noles out of the shotgun. Winkie, plenty of time, going deep down the far sideline. Intercepted by the Wolfpack. Anthony Payson again picked it off after it was tipped. Wow. 6 interceptions for NC State. They had 8 all of last year.
And a terrible decision by Winkie. He showed his impatience and his inexperience going for the home run when his star player Warwick, who's right here inside number 9, was wide open. Now stop it right there. There's nobody within 10 yards of your All-American and Heisman Trophy candidate. But instead he goes deep for the home run, and it's picked off with a tip drill.
Lloyd Harrison, the man who got a piece of it. And then Anthony Cason with his second interception of the day, and Winky on the sideline may not be able to make up for that at this point. It's getting late in Raleigh. 3:47 remaining. Rashawn spikes ahead. Out to the line of scrimmage. That's it.
Even those in the stands and even those on the sidelines wearing red jerseys that had doubts are now starting to believe.
I think Mike O'Kane may have leaped higher.
I think he's wounded.
I think he got hurt on the jump. He jumped initially.
He's got ice on the back of his calf. He pulled his calf muscle.
Got to play hurt, even on the sideline. This would be the biggest win of his career by far, and one of the biggest in NC State history. You beat the number 2 team in the country, and you hand Florida State their second loss ever in the ACC. Ray Robinson wrapped up after a gain of about 1, and the clock continues to run.
They've got to stop it now. It's down under 3 minutes. There's your timeout, so we'll have 1 left. It's been a terrible day for Bobby Bowden. He came in, he wasn't feeling well, has a cold, and now all this is taking place.
Well, as much as Torrey Holt has done to the defense, it's been the struggles of the offense that has really hurt Bobby Bowden today. Chris Wenke just not on from the get-go. The first pass of the game, if you missed it, a 74-yard touchdown strike to Peter Warwick, and you thought, uh-oh, blowout time.
Well, and as happy as you feel for Mike O'Kane, and we told you the problems he's had, but how he stuck to it and did it his way, rebuilt his program, you also have to feel sorry for Chris Wenke. Wenke being the guy that was a glamour story, terrific story, the way he came back to college football, 26 years of age, squared away, and now to have a day like this, the glamour turns to nightmare.
Well, starting ABC Premier Tuesday, the Hughleys move in right after Home Improvement. A great new hour of comedy starting ABC Premier Tuesday, September 22nd.
You know, NC State has had some great wins in its football history and had some great years when Lou Holtz was here. They went 5 years in a row where they were really a power and beat Penn State several times. But this has to be, in my mind, the biggest win they've ever had.
Number 2 team in the nation they will have beat. And you go back to the days of Lou Holtz in those great years and on through. And the days of Roman Gabriel, the great players who have played here. Jim Richer, the Outland Trophy winner who played with the Bills. And then Dick Sheridan, the success that he had. But as a singular win, I'm not sure you could top this.
Well, not only that, but you couldn't ask for better people to do it. You think of Les Robinson and what he went through with the basketball program. The athletic director has this great vision. You think of Mike O'Kane and everything he went through. Some people here wanted to run him out of town. He stuck. He did it his way. He rebuilt the program.
Plenty of people.
Almost, yeah, majority of people. And yet he did it. He never lost his confidence. He continued to do it his way, and he's rebuilt this program.
3 wins to end last year. And now 2 consecutive wins, including 1 perhaps over Bobby Bowden. 2:44 left. It'd be awfully tough to imagine a Florida State comeback at this point.
And it shows you the team that had the longest winning streak in the Atlantic Coast Conference, NC State, and they've just extended it.
Torrey Holt got the upper hand today on Peter Warwick. Not Warwick's fault, though. You can't blame him. His quarterback just had an off day.
There's a guy that didn't even play football when he went to high school. His high school coach talked him in to being the team manager just because he wanted him associated with the program. It didn't take long to find out his intentions. He wanted him to graduate from being a manager to playing as his wide receiver, playing as his quarterback, playing as his running back, used him everywhere. Now everybody in the world sees his talent. He's a great All-American.
And they're not going to wait for the troopers to open up the gates. They're coming down. You don't think they're going to storm the field after this one, do you?
It's your school, partner. You know what kind of spirit they have. You were involved in one of those national titles.
Yeah, that was in short pants and a tank top, though. I didn't mess around in pads and helmets. 4th down, Earwood on to punt. No pressure this time from the nose. pitcher gets away from it, and it falls dead at the 4-yard line. There's Marcus Outzen going to come back on in relief of Chris Winke. So Bobby Bowden, you mentioned it a moment ago, you do have to feel for him. And here's a team that comes in, having dominated the ACC. They played Texas A&M. They don't shy away from anyone. Last year they played USC in that first game. They play another tough one to open up the season and get a good, tested win. And they come in today and I think are just shell-shocked for what NC State's been able to do. And you look ahead to the national championship picture, does this take them out of that? Now the minutes to catch at the 43.
Too early in the season to answer that correctly. I don't think so at this point. But they've got a lot of work to do to get back to that level. I mean, this is a situation where this club has, as you said, never lost in the ACC except to Virginia. 47-1. We asked them if the ACC was closing the gap in talent, and they said, well, I don't know how to answer that until we get through with NC State. Well, they learned a valuable lesson today.
So the national championship in 93. As Outzen takes it outside, run out of bounds. He's got a Knowles first down at the 34-yard line.
Florida State has no timeouts left, so they've got to use the sidelines as much as they can with just 2:09 left. But what was improbable now is almost impossible for them to score 3 times.
Well, when you talk about the national championship picture, Tim, can you win it with 1 loss? Well, of course, we know that. And in fact, Florida State, even winning it at 93, they haven't had an undefeated season since, what, 1950?
Well, but what they have had, they've had 11 consecutive 10-win seasons and 11 straight top 4 rankings.
Right, so the point being that 1 loss obviously is not going to take you completely out of the national championship.
Exactly.
For a long road to get it back to where he wants it for Bobby Bowden. And for Mike O'Kane, the win over Ohio. Imagine this. A week ago, Hurricane Earl comes through, Thursday night game, and they have to block a punt with under 2 minutes left. This one almost picked off again. But NC State has to block a punt against Ohio and run it in for a touchdown with less than 2 minutes left in the game to win. And it was a situation where they were almost dead. The crowd thought they were done. We talked about Les Robinson. He thought they were done.
Well, Mike O'Kane
thought they may have been done. And they win a game like that, and now they're going to upset the Seminoles of Florida State. Nelson, after the bad snap, gets down to the 32-yard line. Nothing going right at all for the Noles.
That'll bring up 4th down and long for Florida State. NC State, if they stop and get it back, and can run out the last minute and a half.
.130 and counting. Last chance for Outzen in Florida State to the end zone. Tip, incomplete. And that should do it. The Wolfpack up 24-7. They're getting ready to storm the field. Still got a minute 20 left, but you're looking at a sideline that grew in belief as the day went on. No one around Raleigh, I can tell you this, figured they could beat Florida State today. And Tim, if you're a Florida State fan, it's hard to explain. It's hard to figure this one out.
What a great scene this is.
Ready, set, go. And they'll be out there. No timeouts left for the Seminoles. Barnett still on knee, and the clock continues to run. The Chevrolet most valuable players of the game, Peter Warwick of Florida State and Torrey Holt of NC State. For Holt, 9 catches, 135 yards, but he brought back a punt, 68 yards, had that 63-yard touchdown catch. For Warwick, 4 catches, 130 yards, and the opening touchdown. Chevrolet donation will be made to East School's General Scholarship Fund to reward outstanding students for their academic achievement and assist those in financial need. A Chevrolet tradition for more than a quarter of a century.
Talk about both of those players in the open of this game, Warwick and Holtz, but they were the showcase. Certainly didn't let anybody down. There are more people in this stadium now than there were when the game began. As the game went on and NC State continued to lead, more and more people came into this stadium as the afternoon progressed.
Chris Wenke trying to figure out what went wrong today. Yeah, there's a Wolfpack club enjoying what may be the biggest win in the program's history. They've had some great ones and some great players, but they just upset the number 2 team in the nation, Bobby Bowden. And as Bowden comes over to have a word and congratulate Mike O'Kane, the clock has stopped. And I'm not sure they could get these folks off the field that they wanted to.
State troopers are trying to help Mike O'Kane. He's got that bad leg. He said, hey, leave me alone. Just let me walk slowly here. I think he wants to savor the moment, too.
Number 2 ranked Houston back in 1967 for NC State. As sweet a win as they're ever going to have here in Raleigh. Peter Warwick. Well, you get a feel for that guy. Heisman hopeful coming in, injured. Coaches said, well, maybe he shouldn't play today. He wanted to play all along. Told us he would definitely be in the lineup. Not able to have the day he wanted to have.
Mike, can you hear us?
Yes.
Hey, Mike, Tim Brandt, congratulations.
Thank you.
Phenomenal performance by your players.
Thank you very much, Tim. I tell you, it was, it's beyond words right now. To hold that bunch to 7 points, that's an unbelievable job by our defense, and our offense did just what they needed to.
Mike, congratulations. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mike, congratulations. We talked about the 7 points. That's as low as Florida State has been since 1988 against Miami. And it happened on the first play from scrimmage. 74 yards to that man, Peter Warwick, from Chris Wenke. But that was it. The defense of NC State, which had given up 361 yards on the ground and 22 rushing first downs against Ohio in their first game, just shut down this offense from Florida State.
But that's the key. Terry started out with a 74-yard touchdown to Warwick on the very first play. We looked at each other and said, here we go. And I think everybody felt that way. But then NC State just seemed to strap it on, and they dominated the rest of the way.
Well, not only Barnett to hold, but the defense 6 interceptions for the Wolfpack. NC State at 2-0, Florida State 1-1. The Wolfpack, as big a win as they've had, perhaps, in the history of their program, is upset number 2. For Tim Brandt, I'm Terry Gannon. Hope you enjoyed watching Torrey Holt go deep against the Knolls. Remember, Michigan State, Notre Dame tonight.